What's up, y'all? It's Jason the Chiron here once again, and we're talking about Mars and all signs. Now, I don't know if the whole like burping once I get on the mic thing is like a subconscious nervous thing. I don't know, but let's get into this. So, first and foremost, we need to understand that the influence of Mars is one's drive and intent. So, on the inside, we have the intent externally, like the way that we externalize our intent though, or our Mars influence is what we're driven by or driven to do. Now, the objective will be what we're driven toward, right? Now, when it comes to the drive, it only comes into play when there's something that we actually have the intent to obtain or intent to accomplish or intent to gain. So that would most definitely be dependent upon the energy that Mars is in and also which house that Mars is in when we come to like the areas of life. Like say you have somebody who's in the sports or something like that, they might have Mars in the fifth house. You know, they might be driven to be the star or driven by just a hobby that they have and want to become better and better at it. So they be driven to do what they need to do to become better and better and better on the daily basis. Which, you know, when it comes to Mars, we're talking about like a repetitive intent, so a drive that's seen every day. Now, when it comes to like Pluto, then we're talking about deep intent. So something that it's going to take time to actually get to this specific goal. Like we'll say that's the big picture. Now, when it comes to having drive, we're going step by step. This is, you know, the drive in progress, right? This is the intent being fulfilled in progress. Now, when it comes to Pluto, that is the big picture, right? That's what you're trying to get to. That's what's over there, right? And if you have enough intent, then you're going to get there. If you don't, then you're not going to get there. Like, oh, well, let's get into it. So let's say we're dealing with Mars and Aries. So this is the drive or intent to cardinal fire. So Mars, the driving intent to cardinal, initiate and create fire, a point of view or expression, right? Or to even, you know, well, yeah, let's go with that. That's the perfect example. I don't want to throw y'all off. So, yes, Mars driving intent to cardinal, initiate and create fire, a point of view or expression. Now, let's say we got multiple guys being depictions of these Mars placements, and they're trying to holler at a specific girl. Now, the driving intent is what you should be paying attention to when it comes to dealing with somebody in relationships in the first place. First and foremost, I must say that for the sake of you know, just you know, life coaching. Don't get with somebody who just has this or that intent, which will be one of the examples. So let me get into this. So let's say we have a Mars in Aries. So this person has a drive and intent to initiate or create a point of view or a way of expressing something, right? Or even to initiate your viewpoint toward them, right? So let's say the Mars and Aries, they go out and they're like, okay, okay. And this is Mars in its home placement when it's in the Mars energy, when it's in the Aries energy. Okay. So, and this is masculine side of Mars, I must add. It is the fire side of Mars. Okay. This is a more spiritual based planet. So it's dependent upon how one externalizes their internal energy. So let's say we have a Mars in Aries. Now, this Mars in Aries, their intent is to initiate a viewpoint. Okay. Or an initiating expression. This Mars and Aries, they see the target, they're going straight toward the girl. They're boo, hey, how you doing? So I just wanted to let you know, and let's highlight let's say this is the same person who had Venus in Aries in the last video. They're gonna be like, yeah, I just got this live car, you know what I'm saying? It costs a lot of money. It It costs a whole lot of money, so you should fool with me. You should rock with me. I could do whatever you want. We could do whatever you want. Money ain't a thing, you know. We could even buy some chicken wings, whatever it is. Now I had to throw a rhyme in there. I'm goofy, but if we get into the mix of it, we really look into the intent of this Mars and Aries. The intention is just get it going. Let's hurry up. Come on, you and me, let's go. Right? Now, Mars and Aries in a more generic fashion, just so we don't confuse anybody before we get into the next signs, it's more so just about how one displays their intent. So Aries, they're going to get straight to it. The Mars and Aries has pursued the girl, so it's to let her know immediately, hey, I'm into you. That's the intent behind it all. Now, if we get into Mars and Taurus, then we're talking about Mars driving intent on fixed earth matters. So Mars driving intent, fixed fixation on earth, structure, stability, and practicality. Now, what a Mars and Taurus would do to holler at this same girl will be like, hey, well, look, I don't go spending all this money on cars. I think about spending money on a home, and it's gonna be able to gain value, sell that home, get an even bigger, nicer home, gonna put some solar panels on that thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be structured. Like we're gonna be able to make a strong, practical decision if you're choosing this man here is basically what the Mars and Taurus is trying to portray. What the Mars and Taurus is trying to relate to the woman if they were, you know, interested in that woman. And they will basically have the intent of showing that they have a fixed structure for this woman to depend on in life. Now, and also maybe also relaying the message that, hey, this Mars and Aries, they went and they bought this car. They probably didn't think about this, that, and the third. Maybe they was the same Venus and Taurus from the last video, and now they're like, "Hey, look, I'll show you what to really pay attention to. Pay attention to his intentions." Matter of fact, if he sees that material object as something that's a big deal, and he just equated your time to that, I don't think that's a fixed structure to be dependent on. You'll be here today, going tomorrow. He'll be gone potentially, possibly. Not saying Mars and Aries are like this, but a Mars and Taurus can look at the situation like that and see that they could potentially win the girl by putting on the table some fixed practicality or something that the woman can depend on, right? That's the intent there. Now, if we're talking about Mars and Gemini, then we're talking about Mars driving intent, mutable air. So Mars driving intent to adapt and relate, which is mutable, to air, thinking, communicating, and processing information. So now, let's say the Mars and Gemini, he sees both these guys, they hitting on the girl. They like, okay, he like, okay, 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 I see. So if I want to highlight a girl, maybe I gotta have a lot of money and I gotta be willing to just splurge it, just throw it, and just also just walk up on a girl real confident, like, you know, just like the Mars and Aries did. They're gonna adapt to what the communications they just heard, right? Now, when I said like walked up on them, now that's false. That's something that actually a Mars and Earth sign could potentially pick up on and tend to in some way, shape, or form. So I apologize because it's more about the communication aspect of it all, so we can process the information that's being relayed from one to another, right? It's communication based. So that's basically Mars and Gemini, the intent to adapt, relate, and then communicate or process information, in a related fashion and in an adaptable fashion as well. They'll communicate in accordance to what they adapted to. Now, if we're talking about Mars and Cancer, then we're talking about Mars driving the tent, cardinal water. So we're talking about Mars driving the tent, cardinal initiating, creating water, feelings, emotions, and intuition. So now let's say that this Mars and Cancer, they come in and say they go up to the girl. They're actually interested in the girl. They think she look good. And then they end up being like, well, I mean, do you really want to fool with these guys? It seems like, according to their first impression and how they're initially uh tending to you, that they just want to fuck. or they just want to mess around because they don't even know anything about you. Stuff like that. It'll be like, they didn't take into consideration how this woman feels, but they have the intent to display that. And they also have the intent to display it by teaching this woman, hey, look, I'm gonna let you know the truth. So if you deal with me, I got the truth to offer to you. Basically, it's like this catering to her feelings, right? It's catering to her feelings. And also Mars and Cancer, this might be someone who take a second thought before they just allow somebody in their home, though. Like just a girl look all pretty and stuff. They might not say, hey, yeah, just come to my house. They might be like, but you can't come to my house until we get to know each other for like a month. Stuff like that. Now, let's say that the Mars and Cancer gets the woman. So they'll be like, okay, we gonna let this well out for like a month before I invite you in my home. Because the driving the intent of the Mars and Cancer is to create healthy domestic situations, or to create a home, not just a house, a home. This ain't just no shelter. This is my where I'm able to sit here, meditate, resonate with my home, and my home could give that peace right back to me. I could regenerate myself in my home. That type of energy. They're gonna take that very seriously. Okay. Now let's say Mars and Leo, the driving intent on fixed fire. So Mars driving the tent, fixation on fire, a point of view or expression. Now let's say that the Mars and Leo catches eye of this woman, and she's currently with the Mars and Cancer. And then he's talking to the girl. He's like, "Hey, girl, how you doing? How you doing?" And stuff like that. Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. Why you just all right? Well, I mean, there's this guy I've been talking to for a while, and he won't allow me into his house. I think you're a weirdo or something. 9 times out of 10, because she don't know he a Mars and Cancer, but the Mars and Leo might look at this situation and be like, "Oh," and they might want to put himself on stage, has the driving intent to make himself be the one that she has a fixated view on. So he might say, "Oh man, man, maybe he just broke and he don't want you to see his crib. He ain't got it like me. I'm flashy, baby. Like, I got my jewelry on. I probably got a car that's better than his. Look at my car. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that." Basically, the intent to put himself in the spotlight, and also the intent to make her fixate her awareness on him after fixating her awareness on the fact that, hey, well, maybe this guy doesn't have his stuff together. Maybe that's why he was bashing on the Mars and Aries dude. Maybe that's why he was bashing on the Mars and Taurus guy. Hmm. It's the intent to spread awareness. Or even the intent to be aware, where this guy might look at her and be like, oh, okay, like the Mars and Leo might look at her and be like, okay, well, she easy. She a hoe. I'm a one nighter when I get her. I'm a one nighter. It's gonna be a quick thing. Or I might just let her stay with dude, and I'm just gonna keep tapping that thing because according to the Mars and Leo, potentially he sees that according to his awareness, that he'll be more stubborn about and be like quicker to jump to that conclusion because of the Mars being there with the Leo energy, will be like, yeah, she a hoe. She easy going. All right, cool. I just smash that thing, make her think this, that, and third of me. Maybe she'll see me as a high value man, and then I'm gonna get in them pants. Boom. Now, let's talk about Mars and Virgo. Now, Mars and Virgo, we're talking about driving intent. Mars. We're talking about Mars driving intent when it comes to mutable Earth. So, Mars driving intent when it comes to mutable adaptability and relatability to Earth structure, stability, and practicality. So now, let's say that the girl got a friend who has Mars and Virgo. Let's say this is a woman, by the way, like her homegirl. They sitting there, they chopping it up, and then the girl that was getting hollered at, she sitting here and she like, this Mars and Cancer dude, I'm rocking with him, but at the same time, there's this Mars and Leo guy. He came around saying maybe that dude ain't really got his stuff together, and that's probably why he don't want me to see everything that's going on with him. Maybe that's why he don't want me to come to his home. And let's assume she don't know what Mars and Cancer is, but that's just how the dude initiated his greeting with her. So Now the Mars and Virgo girl could be like, you know what? I think you need to stop dressing how you dressing. Maybe that's why you keep attracting these guys who think that you just a gold digger and treat you like a hooker or a stripper. I see you was wearing them booty shorts. You was wearing them booty shorts. Plus, you've been wearing them things for 3 days straight, girl. They must think that you ain't got high priorities. And then Mars and Cancer dude probably don't want you coming in and stinking up his house. You probably smell, girl. You probably smell. And see the Mars and Virgo, what you need to understand from the context here, as goofy as it was, you got to understand that Mars and Virgo has the intent to adapt to the circumstances at hand, right? Now, this girl here that everybody's hollering at, something she may not take into consideration, best believe her Mars and Virgo homegirl is going to take into consideration. So Mars and Virgo homegirl is basically relaying the message to her that, hey, first and foremost, what I think you haven't really thought about, and Virgo is the feminine side of Mercury, so it's going to nurture the thought process naturally. There, she's going to have the intent to, tend to the thought process when it comes to nurturing and tending to your physical conditions because it's Earth. She gonna be like, hey, why you focused on if he could provide and stuff like that? I don't think you're even gonna be provided for a long term because you out here rocking them booty shorts. You need to put on something that's more respectful. Maybe put on even a sundress or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, be out, be beautiful, be all out here, show them what you got. That little thing gonna poke out in the back. But at least at the same time, you ain't got it on advertisement like these girls that be walking around with these gold heels on the side of the street late at night. So more so adapt to your circumstances. A Mars and Virgo has the intent to adapt to the circumstances at hand or adapt to a person, place, or thing, okay? Objectively. Now, when it comes to Mars, it could play out unobjectively. It could even, Mars and Virgo, that could play out so many different ways. It's not always positive, it's not always negative, and that goes for every placement. It's not always negative or positive or somebody trying to manipulate, nothing like that. It's just a scenario at hand, and I'm having fun with this at the same time. Now, if you don't understand, please put in the comments. Let me know what I need to touch on. 9 out of 10. This is the fifth video when it comes to the planets in the sign series. This is the fifth video. So I'm probably gonna see this stuff repeated repetitively, but doesn't matter. Just throw it in the comments. Be a critique. I'm giving you access. I'm open to it. I ain't gonna diss you unless you say something disrespectful, then I might take that time. But now let's get into Mars and Libra. Now, Mars and Libra. Mars driving the tent with cardinal air. So now when it comes to Mars driving the tent with cardinal, initiating and creating air, thinking, communicating, and processing, here's the intent to initiate a thinking process or even just initiate conversation. Now let's say that a Mars and Libra guy comes into the picture, or let's say that yeah, let's say Mars Libra guy comes into the picture and he comes up to the girl and just wait on it. Just bear with me. Pay attention. Pay attention. And now Mars and Libra guy comes into the picture and he's not even really trying to holler at her. He just walks by and walks by and just goes like, hey, that's a nice sundress. That's a nice sundress. Where you going? Oh, word. You went to the Comic Con. I go to Comic Con. Yeah, the whoop, the whoop, the whoop. Man, all right. Well, shoot, I'll see you there. You have a good day. Walk off. Now, he might be into her. He might not be into her. But when it comes to Mars and Libra, it's just a driving intent to initiate even conversation, a thinking process, right? But in this scenario, we're talking about just initiating conversation. Just, oh, you got a nice sundress. That look beautiful. Oh, where you going? Like, basically, where you going in the dress? And then she happened to say Comic Con. Oh, you going to Comic Con? All right, I might see you there. It's just to initiate conversation. That's the intent. That's it. It's bare. It's just like that. And we don't know the rest of this person's placements, so we can't really deem exactly what their intent is, especially since it's an air sign. It's hard to really tell what the intent of an air sign is. Okay. Because I think about air, like you see how my hand could pass right through it, no harm, no foul. That's how it is. And then Mars is a fire and water based planet, things that you also can't hold, you can't catch a grasp of. You're going to have to really analyze whatever's going on here. And also, fellas, this is something that women like, they actually do find this very attractive whenever you just initiate conversation with them and just let it be light. Like, don't even like heavy, like, hey, I'm trying to get in the pants, or hey, I'm really into you. Nothing like that. Like, just be you. Just be there. But that's a side note. That's life coaching type stuff. We're gonna make that content later. Now, yep, smoking on the death stick. Ooh, ooh, light bill. Look at that. Universe trying to tell me, man, put that stuff down. All right, they gonna have to shoot me some money. Oh, he probably just wanted me to position this lighting a little better. That too. That too. Okay. All right. Is this good? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, there it is. Okay. We about to talk about Mars and Scorpio, okay? Hold on now. Hold on. I was told last oh, my bad. I was told last night I'm smoking on like these crackhead cigarettes, the little swish sweet cigarettes. Not proud of it, not proud of it, but I don't waste money. My Jupiter and Capricorn just didn't allow it. I don't waste money. And nobody wanted to take them from me. Matter of fact, I tried to give them away. That's how I found out. These is cigarettes that people on crackers should be smoking. It was an accidental purchase. I was trying to help somebody out. I definitely picked up the wrong pack. But now if we're getting into Mars and Scorpio, we're talking about Mars getting into its feminine side. So this is a placement that's actually at home as well. You know, when I say as well, I'm relating to the Mars and Aries placement because that's the masculine side of Mars. Okay. Now, with Mars and Scorpio, we're talking about Mars driving a tent with fixed water. The modality is fixed, the element is water. Now, we're talking about Mars driving a tent when it comes to the fixation on water, feelings, emotions, and intuition. Now, this is the intent to be fixated on how one may feel and how one may feel because it's fixed. So it has to do with like just, focused energy. It's focused. So let's say we got a Mars and Scorpio person who was at the Comic Con event. Mars and Libra is there with the girl. They at the Comic Con event. And then let's say a guy walks by the girl, see she got a nice bootay, and then just go, "Ooh, that's nice." Wow. And then Mars and Libra dude, he's sitting there and he trying to keep his composure, but he noticed how he might be like at the dude, and like he just sitting here like this. Now there's another individual that is the Mars of Scorpio that's looking from the distance, and they're sitting here going like, "Oh snap." I bet he was pissed off. Man, whew. Like it might just like, it could just be that. Like really trying to focus in on how the Mars and Libra may have felt about what just happened to what that person may assume to be their girl. Also, let's say Mars and Scorpio sitting there, they may also assume that, oh, dude probably ain't like that, or oh, that girl probably don't care. She ain't even flinch. She ain't even do nothing, or maybe she didn't even feel it. Notice that feelings is coming up a lot in this context. So not lit. That's a sign. Okay. So it's basically just focus on the feelings. That's the intent. The intent to focus on the feelings of another. Now, what a Mars and Scorpio may also think is, man, if that was me, I'd probably knock that dude out. Now, to me and a Mars and Scorpio, it has to do with nurturing to an extent. So when it comes to like a woman who is more a water-based individual, while a man would be more a fire-based individual, just to make the contrast, the Mars and Scorpio might be sitting there like, man, she might not even rock with that at all. Like she probably not that type. She probably just didn't want to have too much energy. She probably did like give it too much energy. She probably just didn't want old dude to pop off or to see her out of her element, because then that can mess up her chances with dude or something like that. Because he seemed like he just sat there, he took it cool. He handled that like a G, like a boss. He ain't act out of hand or nothing. He didn't. He allowed her to stand on her individuality. Mars Scorpio might see it like that, but it's a fixation on how these two individuals may feel, right? And then when it comes to the dude that smacked that ass, now the Mars Scorpio might be looking at that individual, going like, oh, that person probably just never had a good mother figure, probably never had a healthy relationship, probably don't even care about relationships. Care. You look for these key words and context, you'll really figure out what somebody is. But I repeat, never assume someone's placement based off one interaction or one situation. You got to really dissect everything that's going on to fully understand an individual. All right. That has to go on record. I must put that on the record. Now, Mars and Sagittarius. Now, we're talking about Mars and Sagittarius. We're talking about Mars, the driving intent when it comes to mutable fire. So, Mars, the driving intent when it comes to mutable adaptability and relatability to fire, point of view or expression. So now, let's say that Mars and Scorpio, he go back to the crib, he invited his homie over, and he like, hey, bro, man, let me tell you what I seen today. This Mars and Scorpio talking for the sake of context and understanding. Mars and Scorpio saying, bro, I was at this Comic Con today. This dude slapped this dude girl on the ass hard too, disrespectfully. Now, let's say Mars and Sagittarius, he comes with context that's relatable to what the Mars and Scorpio was honing in on. So Mars and Sag be like, oh man, I see, man. If that was me, man, I probably wouldn't even fool with homegirl no more. Maybe she like that stuff. Maybe she trying to keep herself open for the picking. Maybe dude don't even care. Maybe that was her pip or something. But this is the intent to have a broader perspective when you have Mars and Sagittarius. The intent to understand from multiple point of views. Okay, simple. Now let's talk about Mars and Capricorn. Now, if we're talking about Mars and Capricorn, we're talking about Mars driving intent with cardinal Earth. So we're talking about Mars driving intent with cardinal initiating and creating Earth, structure, stability, and practicality. Now, let's say that Mars and Sagittarius got a girlfriend that's at the spot too. Like she came over as well, and she's sitting there like this is Mars and Capricorn, by the way. Now, let's say that, oh, that dude was just trying to get a rise out of dude so that the girl could see how uncool he was or how he couldn't handle the situation. And if he did sit there, he was chill, then it didn't work. Now, let's dissect this when it comes to Mars and Capricorn, which is the driving intent to initiate structure, stability, and practicality, right? Or even to initiate um, a scenario, which would still be a person, place, a thing, which correlates with the Earth construct. So we're saying here that the girl's trying to relay a message that basically the guy was potentially having the intent to start some shit. So initiate and create some shit or a scenario. So that correlates with cardinal initiation and creation when it comes to earth, some shit or structure, stability, and practicality in that individual's favor. And maybe the girl was a hoe. This is something else that the Mars and Capricorn might bring to the table and say, like, hey, maybe the girl was a hoe and she didn't want to start no drama because at the same time she wanted to be able to go back and see dude and initiate a connection with him because maybe he'll tear that thing up right. And plus he bold, so that just turned her on or whatever. Let's say that's the case. But the intent with the Mars of Capricorn is to initiate structure, stability, and practicality, which is the reason why she's trying to help out that Mars and Libra guy. Well, wait, the Mars and Scorpio guy and the Mars and Sagittarius boyfriend of her understand what's actually taking place here, right? And it might not be multiple scenarios. Like the Sag might think about multiple scenarios, but when it comes to Mars and Capricorn, they're going to be like, oh, more so like from a personal standpoint because it's cardinal, so it's initiating. It's coming from this starting point. The cardinal energies, which is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, they are the starting point. So it's not much, when it comes to the driving intent, somebody with their Mars and Capricorn is going to be one of these individuals with the cardinal energy who's going to be the starting point of this initiation or understanding from that point. Okay. There's nothing really to be fixated on. They don't really have any grounding information besides just he say, she say type stuff in accordance to the context at hand in this scenario. Okay. You learn how to dissect somebody properly and you understand all the variables of a situation, you can start to really that's like dissect the scenario in accordance to your standpoint. You'll understand somebody's placements potentially. You spend enough time with them, it's going to become very easy to like be like, oh, okay, I know what this person's about. I know what they're about. I know their placements. This is Sun and Gemini, Moon and Taurus, Mercury and Sagittarius, whatever. But if okay, when it comes to the Mercury placement, it's going to be in some correlation. It's going to be close to the Sun placement at all times, but that's another note. Now, and that has to do with just the time it takes for, the Sun and Mercury to do a full um revolution. So since it's so correlated and they're close, it's not that much of a gap. They're going to be really close to each other at all times. At a different pace, but it's not that different. Now, if we're talking about Mars and Aquarius, we're talking about Mars driving intent when it comes to fixed air. So we're talking about Mars driving intent when it comes to the fixation on air, thinking, communicating, and processing. So we're talking about the intent to be fixated on thinking, communicating, and processing. Now let's say that we have a Mars and Aquarius here. Let's say it's we got another homeboy that's in the house. So it's the brother to the Mars and Scorpio person who initiated this conversation in this home, right? So the Mars and Aquarius may sit here and be thinking, hmm. And what they're thinking about displays the intent, by the way. Maybe thinking, okay, so Mars and Scorpio dude, he really just wanted to talk about something. And then when it comes to Mars and Sagittarius, he put his input in. He came from different angles, but I think he just had the intent just to enlighten somebody, just to enlighten his brother for the sake of the conversation they chose to start or whatever. And then the girl comes in. Okay, she probably been through a whole bunch of trash dudes. That's why she's thinking worst case scenario. But what you see here is the Mars and Aquarius has the intent to figure out and have a fixation on the thought process of these individuals. So a fixation on thinking, communicating, and processing. You feel me? Now, let's talk about Mars and Pisces, last but not least. Now, Mars and Pisces, we're talking about Mars, the driving intent when it comes to mutable water. So, Mars, the driving intent when it comes to mutable adaptability and relatability to water, feelings, emotions, and intuition. So now we come into play, and let's say that Mars and Scorpio's girl comes in. Matter of fact, let's just say let's say that okay, let's say that homeboy that is the Mars and Aquarius, that's the brother to the Mars and Scorpio. He got a homeboy that's over there. You know, he just over there. He chilling in the cut like rubbing alcohol, right? Now, Mars and Scorpio's girlfriend comes in. Now, let's say Mars and Pisces knows, most likely like everybody else, Mars and Pisces knows that they got some stuff falling off my apartment, whatever. But Mars and Pisces knows that the girlfriend to Mars and Scorpio is a jealous being. She's a jealous woman. So as soon as a girl comes in and they change the subject, everybody like, oh hey Keisha, hey, what's up, Keisha? Hey, what's up? And all of that. Now Mars and Pisces is going to hone in on the intent of why people are adapting to like the sake of her feelings more so. So they're manipulating even the scenario in the sense that the Mars and Pisces will realize that and probably just go along with the whole scenario, just knowing better, resonating with the situation, knowing that, oh, if we speak about how Mars and Scorpio witnessed that this guy slapped this girl's ass, that girl may assume or create the illusion in her head. Remember, Neptune, which co-rules over Pisces, is the planet that influences dreams, illusions, and creativity. So the Mars in Pisces might realize that Mars and Scorpio's girlfriend that just walked in may assume or create the illusion in her mind that her man was already staring at that girl's booty for him to even witness her butt get smacked in the first place. So Mars and Pisces, they're going to be aware of these type of scenarios. They're going to be aware of potential illusions. They'll even be aware of how to cast an illusion. Matter of fact, 10 minutes after the girl walks in, say the Mars and Pisces dude, he go over to Mars and Scorpio, start josing with him, which means like, messing with him, talking to him, starting a conversation, whatever. And then goes like, hey, look, I won't tell your girl that you was staring at booty if you buy me this new video game. And Mars and Scorpio be like, hi, boy, you stupid, boy, you crazy. And then Mars and Pisces be like, well, why y'all ain't talk about it then? Why you ain't talk about it? He'd be like, man, you know she jealous, she jealous. And then the Mars and Pisces be like, well, and you know that she gonna believe me and she gonna jump the gun and you gonna have a bad day. As soon as she start questioning you and investigating the situation, Mars and Pisces just manipulated the scenario, had the intent to manipulate the scenario, which has to do with adaptability to feelings, emotions, and intuition. He will manipulate the girl's feelings to make her think it's more than what it actually is so that he could gain from it. The intent was to gain something from the manipulation put into play. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed these examples. I'm sure that was interesting. This probably felt like story time. I really like the way I'm doing this. I want to keep this up, but still, like I said, make suggestions in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that, like, say there's even some of y'all who have more of an expertise with astrology. There's something I'm missing out on because, see, my intent with my Mars being in Virgo, my intent is to adapt to those people who have never experienced astrology before, but not hit them upside the head with a whole astrological book, just so that they could, come in understanding, meet us where we at, right? But if there's a better way that I could do that and I conduct myself in my way of teaching y'all, please bring that to the table. If I'm looking off too much because there's rubble look like falling off my roof, whatever, comment it. Let me know. But At the end of the day, we pushing out this knowledge. I want everybody to be woke. I want, well, not woke, not the trendy woke. I want y'all to understand what this astrological stuff could really do for you. So you could get a grander scope of what's going on in the world, a grander scope of yourself, certain habits that you might have that you can adjust, you know. And then we're talking about the degree of whichever sign that these planets are in, you're going to know how critical it is. Matter of fact, if you have a low degree, it might be harder to notice these habits about yourself, but best believe they play out. Now, if you have a higher degree in those placements, then you are aware of this. Just don't be too stubborn to the point where you don't allow yourself to open up in thought, especially my fixed placements out there. Y'all know who y'all are. I'm talking about Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Those fixed signs that like to be real stubborn. Look, we just try out here trying to learn. I'm trying to help you become the best you supposed to be. If you're a jealous individual, be the best jealous individual you could be. Okay. You might find somebody who's flattered by that and they want to be with you for the rest of their lives. But that's here nor there. I love y'all. Jason the Chiron out. Jupiter and all signs is coming up next. All right.